What do you get when you mix fine cuisine with utter simplicity? On today's menu, in Vietnam, subtle and varied flavors are often achieved in the simplest of ways.
I love seafood, especially when we come to Ha Long Bay. It's really fresh.
An inside look at a remote floating village in the waters of Ha Long Bay.
Their sea lakes are so well developed, they often claim to have a hard time balancing on solid ground.
A whirlwind tour of Hanoi with a caffeine buzz.
We took the French coffee and Vietnamized it and make it our own.
Rice paper from Tay Ninh that softens in the morning dew.
Mrs. Nam has been making rice paper for at least 35 years now.
The food of kings from Ho Chi Minh City's famous Rex Hotel.
We are out here in the middle of Ha Long Bay, one of the most beautiful places in Vietnam. About 2 hours by boats from the mainland. It's now 4:30 in the morning, and we are going to visit a fishing family of Mr. Nhiat in the floating village of Va Gia.
The meal is called Con Tra Ca, sweet and sour fish soup, and it is one of the most popular dishes in all of Vietnam. Originating in the Mekong Delta, it can be found in the finest restaurants of the country. But it is also made in the remote fishing villages of Ha Long Bay, located 100 miles east of Hanoi in the northeast province of Quang Ninh.
There are 4 main fishing villages in Ha Long Bay. And with a population of around 700, Va Gia is the largest and one of the most remote. So here we are at the Nhiat family home. The whole family has lived here for at least 3 generations. This is Mr. Nhiat's parents, his wife, daughter, grandchildren, and various in-laws. This dish is called Can Chok Ka. It's a sweet and sour fish soup that is very popular in Vietnam. Of course, a great meal like this has to start with fresh fish. Mr. Nhiat wakes up around 4:30 to start fishing at 5 o'clock. He says during the summer season, he usually uses prawns or squid as bait for the fish. At the bottom of the boat, there is a trough of water where he can place the fish to keep them alive. On any given day, he'll catch snapper, groupers, tuna, vokfish, which is a sea bass. He says there aren't as many fish these days because of overfishing. With each passing year, he catches fewer and fewer fish. The weather changes constantly. And then suddenly, the storm is over. These people have lived their entire lives in these floating villages. Their sea lakes are so well developed, they often claim to have a hard time balancing on solid ground. Mr. Nhiat keeps his fish under the floorboards of his house. If a fish is particularly good, he'll spawn it in special nets to help ensure future fish. This tool she's using is a 50-year-old knife. Really old, but still useful. The daughter cooks. but the whole family contributes on a regular basis, even the grandparents.
Đi gần đây thôi, già rồi đi đi học côn vậy đó. Già rồi gì vậy?
The grandmother says that before the war, as a fashion statement, the women would dye their teeth black. They thought it looked really cool. The daughter says she uses pork fat to stir-fry the tomato. Ingredients like pork, beef, vegetables, fruit, they buy and trade from farmers who come to the village with well-stocked boats. After a few minutes, she pours water in to make a broth. Once the water boils, she smashes the zao fruit to make the flavor sour. And then she adds the fish, a little bit of salt. At the end, she put the spring onion on the top to make it look beautiful. Wow, it's good. It's really yummy. I think it's great. The fish make it sweet, and the zao fruit make it sour, and the soup is just delicious. Halong Bay is a beautiful place. Mr. Nyat loves living here with his whole family. He loved the ocean, he loved the sea. It's just the way it is.
The biggest city in the north is Hanoi, which is the capital city of the country. It was first set up in the year 1010. The first king of the Ly dynasty in Vietnam, in one of his dreams, saw a dragon soaring up into the sky from this area, and he thinks it's a good omen. So in 2010, we're celebrating the city's 1000th birthday. It's gonna be a huge celebration. My name is Ha, which means river, and we are in Hanoi, which literally means a city on the river.
Vietnam has become the world's second largest coffee producer after Brazil. And Hanoi, once the capital of French Indochina, has transformed the French coffee culture into a distinctly Asian experience. Pham Ha takes us on a caffeine-buzzed tour of Hanoi's busy streets via its many coffee houses.
Vietnam was one of many French colonies, so you can see the French influence all over the country, and especially in Hanoi. We have lovely French bread, and besides bread, we got delicious coffee. I love coffee. I love it. Coffee in Vietnam is grown mostly in central Highland, Buôn Ma Thuột, Pleiku, Đà Lạt, and these beans come from Buôn Ma Thuột. After the roasting process, he pour the hot coffee beans into bamboo baskets like this. He do it in front of the fan, so that's how they separate the husk and the beans. When he put the beans inside the roaster, the color is light yellow, but after they cook, the color turns a beautiful, rich, dark brown. The taste is crunchy, warm. I don't think it's that bitter actually. Bitter sweet. Beautiful. The most popular means of transport in Hanoi is the motorbike. The traffic is like, what is the word? Organized chaos. Organized chaos. For Asia in general, tea is still more popular, but coffee is becoming more and more popular, definitely. Generally, Vietnamese think that Western coffee is too weak. Vietnamese coffee will give you a stronger kick. Making coffee is like a whole art. How you prepare the coffee beans and make sure it's not over-extracted or under-extracted. So when she pour the water in, they go through the filter, and this is what comes out. Pure coffee, very, very strong. It's beautiful. Just beautiful. Chị ơi, cho cho em một cà phê sữa đá. The most common coffee is cà phê sữa đá. Sữa means milk, referring to thick and creamy, sweet and condensed milk. And đá means ice. This is Vietnamese coffee. Just stir it up. The milk sticks to the bottom. Very rich, very creamy. Yummy. Love it. The Vietnamese, if you gave them a glass of fresh milk, like Western people normally drink, they will say, oh, I don't like that. But when they turn it into condensed milk, it makes it more sweet, then the Vietnamese like it better. We're now in the old quarter of Hanoi, in a famous little coffee shop, Giang. Cái quán cà phê này của chú là đó. This gentleman's father first opened this cafe in 1945. That's his father.